Happy New Year, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha bringing you the first episode of Collective Awakening Weekly for 2022. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of an extended episode considering that we're coming into the very first new moon of the year, which is a time of not only setting our intentions for the month of January, but actually setting our intentions for the entire year. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to share a little bit more of an extended insight around what's going on energetically, astrologically. Of course, I'll also be sharing channeled spirit messages that are coming through as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing we're going to look at today is the energy around the new moon, which is occurring on January 2nd, 2022. So each month, the sun and the moon come together and join forces on the new moon. They're aligned with each other. And archetypally speaking, the moon represents our inner nature, our feminine side, our intuition. And the sun represents the way that we express ourselves, our self-identity, our self-expression. And it's connected to the archetype of the sacred masculine, empowerment, in how we are expressing and moving forward in life. So the reason that each new moon is the best time each month for setting new intentions is because of this alignment between the sun and the moon. This particular new moon is happening in 12 degrees of Capricorn. Now, we do still also have Pluto and Venus and Capricorn. So we're coming into Capricorn season. We've got several planets in Capricorn. We have an earth element dominated energy around this particular new moon. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means as well. But what I want to share with you here is that you can look, if you have your own natal chart, you can look to see where the Capricorn sector of your chart is. You can look at the 12-degree range to see if you have any planets that are specifically being triggered. I would say between 10 degrees and 14 degrees Capricorn. And that will give you some additional insight as to how to best harness the energy of this particular new moon. For instance, I am a Capricorn. My birthday is in a few days, and I was born around noon. So right now in my chart, the 10th house is being activated, which is connected to things having to do with life work. And for me, I can definitely feel that energy in the way of ambition to put a little bit more of a structured focus on work-related projects that I've been working on. So before I get a little bit more into the astrology, I also want to talk about the numerology connected to the year 2022, and I want to talk about the spiritual significance of this first new moon of the year. So numerology-wise, 2022 equals a 6. So overall, this is a year of harmonization, balance, beauty, comfortability, ease, grace, things of that nature. 6 is considered to be the number of balance, harmony, and it also governs domestic life, things having to do with our inner sense of home. So we can expect that energies connected to these vibrations are going to be a little bit more prominent in 2022. Psychically speaking, my sense is that we're all having an opportunity to claim the energy of increased well-being and vitality that we all expected we were going to have before everything in the world happened. And you know what I'm talking about. So we're just coming out of a 5 vibration. 2021 has been all about the 5 energy. The energy of 5 typically does loosen up the structure of our reality, which brings in elements of change. 5 also is creativity, inventiveness, imagination, and this is something that we've all certainly been focusing on in the past year, where we're all individually being as resourceful as we can in discovering creative, innovative ways to move through the energies of restriction that have been upon us for the entire year. I would expect that with the 6 energy that we're coming into now, there's a lot more of a stabilizing energy that leads to harmony. I also want to remind us all, for those of you who know me or you've been following my channel, you know that I'm really into living in alignment with the natural cycles and seasons of nature. And the reason that I'm into that is because when we live in alignment, when we're in sync, when we're in tune, aligned and dialed in with the natural energies, cycles, and seasons of nature, ultimately we feel our best and our efforts produce the most beneficial results because we're living in harmony, in alignment. We're not trying to push or force against the grain. We're just peacefully living in alignment with the energy that is. Now, within pretty much every indigenous shamanic culture throughout the world, there's different spiritual, energetic attributes that are assigned to each lunar cycle. This new moon that we're coming into now obviously is the first new moon of the year. So for those of you who have been considering playing with the idea of refining your attunement with the natural cycles and seasons of nature, this is a prime time to get started. That way you can be honing and refining and further dialing in that attunement and alignment as we're progressing through the year. So in North American shamanic indigenous cultures, many tribes associate this moon with being a time where we're really cultivating that deeper connection with ourself, with the creative life force, divine intelligence, and nurturing and energizing the spiritual dimensions of ourself and our life. So this is a really good month to find ways to strengthen your connection with nature. Literally spending time outside is a good way to do that. With the earth element dominance that we have going around this new moon, with all of the planets that are in Capricorn right now, anything having to do with physical movement, nurturing your physical body in whatever ways you feel guided to, which can also include rest as well, are really good practices that we can all do right now to just tap in, tune in, dial in our connection with the energies that are naturally shining in or being active right now. You'll notice if you really feel into yourself, you're going to have a natural tendency to want to sort of hibernate, go within, nurture your physical body with nutritional root, vegetable, hearty stews, things like that. And doing this now is setting the space for being able to really maximize your flourishing as we're progressing through the different energies that show up as we move through the wheel of the year, which is connected to the lunar cycles, the solar cycles, the energy of the seasons, the elements, and things like that. So I want to loop back around and share a few more things that are going on astrologically that are pretty significant right now. Actually, between January 30th and December 8th, we have this positive sextile aspect going on between Mars in Sagittarius and Saturn in Aquarius. Now, because this is a harmonious aspect and not a challenging aspect, the energy of this aspect is supporting us all in having a fervor, a drive, a motivation, a dedication, and a persistence to finding innovative, positive, expansion-oriented ways through whatever challenges have been appearing in your life that are connected to restriction. When we combine this with the fact that Jupiter just went into the sign of Pisces, and this energy is prevalent throughout the first half of 2022, this energy boosts creativity, creative inspiration, things having to do with heightened intuition. And it's also connected to our collective dream of peace on earth. So that energy is influencing us all collectively for the first half of 2022, and then it will be triggered again in October of 2022. The energy of Jupiter in Pisces is supercharging one of the primary aspects that we have going on around this new moon, which is the sun and the moon both trining Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus is known as the Awakener. The energy of Uranus is expansive. It's unpredictable. It typically brings about unexpected change, but with the trine aspect, we can expect this energy of change to be delightful surprises, delightful energies of change. Uranus is also connected to higher consciousness. So Uranus trining the sun and the moon, in addition to Jupiter in Pisces, collectively, we're for sure all going to be feeling a deeper sense of connection with our intuition, especially this first week in January, which further supports clarity around whatever our deepest, highest, and best goals and dreams are that we're setting intentions around right now. Intuition is the language that our soul uses to communicate with us and the universe with matters having to do with what brings meaning and purpose into our life. So the best thing that we can all do this week, the days surrounding the new moon, is to take some time for intuitive self-reflection. What is my inner knowing compelling me towards? And if you're taking the time to nurture those inner spiritual components of yourself through meditation, spending time out in nature, going within, cultivating an inner silence, you'll be able to really sense, feel, tap into, and hear what your intuition is speaking to you about in regard to your goals in moving forward this year. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see what additional spirit messages want to channel through today. Okay, here we go. Today I'm going to be working with my Energy Oracle cards by Sanrda and Taylor. So I'm going to select a few cards and let's just be open to see what additional spirit messages are channeling through today in regard to the energies of the new year and anything that we can do to best harness, utilize, express, channel those energies this month through this lunar phase, starting with the new moon happening here. So I'm going to start by picking 3 cards. And let's see, I'm going to look at them all at once. So we have the sun, the angel of balance, and I feel like it wants to be this one, community. The sun energy is the energy of rebirth and renewal. You can see it's literally assigned to the number 1, which is new beginnings. And we can see this new year of 2022 that we're stepping into now as being a huge new beginning. It's the beginning of a new year. We just had the winter solstice about 10 days ago or so, which literally indicates the return to the sun. The winter solstice is the day of the year that is the shortest day and the longest night. And the days after the winter solstice, all the way up through the summer solstice, literally we have longer days incrementally. The days get a little bit longer and a little bit longer by a few minutes each day, meaning we have more sunlight. The sun represents life force, vitality, radiance, expansion, and again, metaphoric rebirth and renewal. So we're all experiencing this now and embracing this energy to its fullest capacity in whatever ways you are individually feeling inspired is definitely a strong empowerment practice. Ask yourself, In what ways am I feeling guided to support my own rebirth and renewal energy in my life? And how can I hold space for that? How can I revitalize my physical body, my emotional body, my mental body, and my spiritual bodies in ways that are going to support me in coming into an expanded sense of inner radiance to inspire my way forward? Now, when I'm looking at these two cards, when I first pulled this community card up, it showed up reversed. And so I am going to take that into consideration. Community is connected to the age of Aquarius, which we're in the very beginning brink of sort of shifting into now. In the reverse position, to me, it's stating the obvious. We've all been feeling out of sync, out of touch, disconnected with maybe what is our usual sense of community, our usual sense of connections. And it's important for us to find ways also to revitalize that sector of our life. And in doing so, is how we achieve a renewed energy of balance. It's interesting that this is assigned to the number 48 because 4s and 8s both have to do with earth energy. 4 is connected to manifestation and 8 is the number of success, materially, but then energetically as well. So the energy of the angel of balance is shining in to support us all in reconnecting with a holistic sense of balance and well-being this year. So this is a message that's for all of us collectively. And again, the ways that we do that is through tending to your own self-care in whatever ways you're inspired that will fortify your life force vitality, your physical well-being, mental, emotional well-being, and inspire clarity around new directions, potentials, opportunities that lead to your own personal rebirth, renewal. And that is very much connected to coming out of isolation, coming out of limitation or restriction, connected to your usual sense of connection with community, and finding ways to empower that. This is a time of not only getting back on track with maybe what your idea of your normal, usual sense of community connections are, but perhaps this is even a time of forming even new, refreshed sense of community and connections that are connected to this revitalization that we're all experiencing right now. Let's go ahead and pull one more card just because I'm feeling guided. And overall message from Spirit, door to personal healing and happiness, which is assigned to the number 34, which is a 7 in numerology, and we have another 7 right here. 7 governs anything having to do with the mystical dimensions of life. It's our spiritual component of ourself, anything connected to God, spirit, divine mysteries, things like that. And 7 is also in the tarot an indicator of change, but it's self-guided, self-chosen, self-directed, consciously chosen changes. It's not unforeseen changes. So the door to personal healing and happiness comes with our deliberate awareness of allowing, again, being really tapped into our intuition and allowing that be what compels us in the direction of any fine-tunements, adjustments, shifts, changes we might be feeling compelled towards to optimize our vibrance and vitality. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your presence here. Thank you for your support. I so appreciate it. One last thing that I want to mention before we wrap up this session is that I have been working diligently behind the scenes to bring us a bunch of new content here on this channel in 2022 that's especially around cultivating your intuition, honing in your psychic development, and things relating to empowerment for empaths. So if you haven't taken a moment to subscribe to my channel yet, you might want to go ahead and do so that you don't miss out on those videos. Okay, guys, much love, blessings, namaste, and I'm going to see you right around the corner in the next video.